I was working on a
Turf
song
tax.
last night, and
Set. Test.
it's based off of the theme song that MAKiT has on their channel. If you haven't seen their channel, you really have to check it out. Like I've watched through most of the videos now, I think, and they're just super entertaining, and they're also teaching you at the same time. And he's hilarious. So I just think that more people need to know about his streams and his channel in general because the content is amazingly awesome. Yeah, same with chord progression, so I just wanted to try to mimic it on guitar, and yeah, I thought I'd live stream it, because... That's so interesting. I don't even know what scale it is, but last night I did this portion of it. I think I like it. I haven't made an electronic song for quite some time, so I'm just gonna export this. And I have the kind of sample from this stream from my guitar. I might add some of those, but I don't know. I really don't. Sampling is not the most fun thing to do in the world. This is version 4, I guess. Because guitar is fun to play, but I usually just use it to try to hash out the notes of my songs, and so it is quite fun to do. But it's better when you can actually have a whole ensemble play something that you have in your head. So that's why I like electronic music. Cool. Doo-doot. I had the wrong multiband compressor. Because I kind of tried to shape the sound of this oscillator, oscilloscope, whatever you call it, OS. I always get those words wrong. I do just because I need to tweak the drums. I should probably... So the master has the sound goodizer, which is awesome, and the Fruity limiter. Audio, for the most part, is, you know, just an analog signal that's been converted to a digital signal. So whenever you're dealing with audio, I guess there's a certain principles I thought people might want to know. So if you're into making music, this is not for someone that is already technically sound in the matter. These tips might help you, but the drums are usually gonna kick or really hear that just slightly below 100 hertz in my experience, right? That thump that you get is gonna be around 80 hertz. So right here you saw me raising up the 80 hertz or 100 hertz to try to get the thump of that kick. Let me isolate that. So let's hear that. There's some distortion to it. It's super loud. I'm gonna turn down the music. Which, if you're curious, I'm leveling the music to -12. And I'm going to turn on noise suppression for my voice. So I should sound decent. So this is the kick. Sorry, that's super annoying probably. So you have the really soft part there. Now I'm getting the real low end, like 10 hertz, because there's that big thump. Here is 63 hertz. And here is 88. Doesn't tell you exactly what frequency, but if you can visually see a waveform, it's usually zoomed in, right? So in this sense, the waveform is zoomed in. But I want to show you something when it comes to audio. This is a good audio tip. So for mixing music, you want to know where certain frequencies are at. Like a room that has a square, it's a square room. There's going to be something called constructive and deconstructive interference. And so when two waves hit each other, if their peaks and troughs meet, or if they're staggered, or if they're opposite, different things will happen. They'll either cancel out, or they'll actually they'll amplify each other, so the signals are added. I think most of this is explained in Fourier transforms, but I'm not that adept when it comes to the math behind it. But I'm just going to record my voice here. So this is what I'm saying. And this is what your waveform should look like. So you can see that my voice is peaking at -6. I'm just going to record my voice here. So my voice is peaking here. So this -6 that we have, my voice kind of hits at it. That's where I usually like to record at. And the reason I do that is because the ADC, or the analog to digital converter, is going to distort if the mic level is too loud, right? So if I were to take this signal and I just boost it up, so now that the tops are cut off, so there's room for the signal, right? If the signal gets louder than the capabilities of the ADC, right? The ADC is only looking at certain values, high and low. Each of these waveforms that has many frequencies behind it, or each of these words, you can see that so it goes up and then it comes down. So this signal will go up and then comes down. So you can see that there's a lower frequency kind of hidden in there. There's lots of frequencies going on, but but the ADC, or the computer, is able to store all this information. So nothing's distorted digitally, right? So digital distortion happens if you try to raise the volume too much. So remind you, I can only go so high. So once it hits the top or bottom, technically the file shouldn't be able to hold this, right? So if I record something really loud, this is, and forgive me, I'm going to turn down my microphone so I can record this. Okay, hopefully it's back to normal. If I messed up the audio and it just bled your ears, please forgive me. But I wanted to illustrate a point, and here's the point here. So I raised my volume so much so that the information was lost. So the ADC converter on my computer was not able to, it had to clip the signal, right? So instead of this, slope going up and down, what you have is that there is the top. The data is lost, right? So there can't be a value higher than this. So the information wasn't captured. So it will just clip here. And so this is like digital distortion. There's probably a name for it. You want your values when you record to be at -3 or -6 decibels, the height. So I always figure out the loudest of the loud. But what's really crazy is constructive and deconstructive interference when you start working with lots of noises, right? So in this song, there's a whole bunch going on. So what really was difficult for me to understand is I would start to change the volume of something, and it would lower the volume of something else. I was wondering why this was, and most of it has to do with compression. Compression is kind of keeping in check those values. So if the signal gets too high or too loud, the amplitude is too high or whatever, this kind of smooths it out so it doesn't get distorted. And so compression allows you to do some really cool stuff. That's how I understand it. Again, this is not for technically people, but people that know what they're talking about, please feel free to tell me if I'm wrong, or tell me what the proper terms for some of these principles are. But the drum I always see is around 100 hertz, and then room distortion I found to be around 500 hertz, especially if you're in like a square room. The voice, like the clarity of the voice, is at 2.5 kilohertz. And when it comes to EQ, and that's the frequencies at which you're looking at, that's about all you need to know to start off is low, middle, and high. But parametric EQs are neat because you can specify not only what frequency range you want to um, increase or decrease, but you can see how wide the actual curve is. So this is like super, super narrow. It's going to sound super weird. Let me apply that to I'll apply that to just a sound. The reason I'm going to all this is that it was what I needed to know before I could actually try to use Fruit Loops. The things I didn't know that I didn't know. So I'm going to mess with the master one because that will affect all sounds. So you can just get a taste of what the frequencies sound like. So I'm at 2.7 kilohertz, 2.5. It's really where the voice usually is at. So the clarity of the voice. I can't remember, but back in the day, landline phones used a narrow band of frequencies, so that way there was less information traversing. I don't know if that's the impetus for them having a narrow band, but um, usually the clarity is around 2.5 kilohertz. And you'll notice everything that I mix will have the 500 hertz notched down because there's a lot of room, constructive and deconstructive interference in that range if you don't have any type of sound foam. So I have a tendency of dropping down the 500 hertz in a room. And so that's what I have running right now. I have a 9-band EQ running from my microphone to an actual actually, it's running through the preamp. I have a tube preamplifier, which you don't need, then to a 9-band EQ, and then into my setup. So I used to have a recording studio back in the day. My buddy was always, and my business partner was always better at audio engineering than I was. But what I really kind of enjoy is just the different textures that music can create or sound. Like, I don't know. It's neat to play around with. Everyone has their own ear, of course. Sadly, as you get older, you lose some of the higher frequencies and the clarity. But if you're trying to do like an ASMR type stuff, you can mess with the things. But for the most part, I'll always drop the 500 hertz range for bass. The bass frequencies, of course, change depending on what note that you're doing. But my favorite tool that I apply, and I do this on OBS Studio. So in OBS Studio that I'm using now, on my PreSonus, I actually have, this is an audio interface. It's probably the best audio interface that you can get for the money. And it's right here. It's, I think, about $150. But it has this one knob that allows me to hear my voice through the hardware, not through software, so I can actually hear myself in real time. And it's pretty much, with one of these and a condenser microphone, anyone can record like some awesome stuff, in my opinion. But there's a lot of fluff when it comes to audio stuff. People say you need something like this, something like that. But my favorite thing is if you have noise suppression on in OBS Studio and you also have this free plugin called TDR Nova. TDR Nova you can get online for free. It's just super amazing, right? So let me show you. So as I'm talking, it's a parametric equalizer that has a multiband compressor built in. I love multiband compressors because it allows you to shape audio, especially if you're doing something like streaming like I am. If you have your mouth right next to the microphone, that's awesome. But how do you have it sound nice when you're far away? that's a little bit more difficult. And so with a multiband compressor or parametric EQ, you can do that. So I recommend you guys to check out TDR Nova. But I'm going to apply this TDR Nova now to that song. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. Just trying to relax. I have to pack today and move, so I can't really do anything of sustenance, at least when it comes to videos, for probably a month. But I can just fart around doing music for a while. It's super cool. Yesterday, my open muscle project, it got submitted for the Assistive Tech Prize contest. Super excited, which is kind of a sign that I need to take a little bit of a break so I'm not too burnt out. So, okay, the vendor will tell me. Tokyo Dawn Labs. There we go. That's the one I want. Awesome. Tokyo TDR Nova. Perfect. And I'm going to get rid of the Fruity Loops limiter. So there's like no compression on this right now. So what I'm doing is shaping a little bit. I think there's one more part I want to add, and I'm going to call this done. This has been so fun to work on. I don't know about you guys, but oftentimes, I don't know, I'm always having to do something. So finding something that is artistic to do is just delightful. it's so relaxing, and there's no one's making me do this, you know? And so that's what's so freeing about it. And it's someone's life isn't on the line, or, you know, like sometimes I work on stuff where it affects people regularly. But in this regard, well, I think everything you do affects someone, but it is just relaxing to work on art sometimes because it's about not about logic, but more about feeling, you know? No, I can't describe it. But there is something here. This buildup is cool, but it just kind of it comes out of the nowhere, right? Yeah, so what I need to do, what is that? Ah, okay, that's channel 8. I need to go to the mixer. I need to go to channel 8. I need to go to oops. You know what? I need an XY. XY controller. So I think it's the second one. Yeah. So what we want? I think we want to change the top, right? Yeah, we want to change the top. So this one we're gonna link to controller and we're gonna select the Y. Wait, yeah, it's on D, so we got Y. So I didn't even know you could do that. Oh my goodness, that would save so much time. Okay, and this Fruity Squeeze is gonna be the other one. So we're gonna do that to the X. I wonder, where's the dry? Wet and dry. Wet means that it's completely through the effects that you're using, and dry means like 0% of whatever effect you're applying. And so this delay, this is another thing. So the second tip, I could probably make a video out of this, is you got volume that you can play with, right? You got frequency or notes that you can play with, and then you also have delay that you can play with. And so a delay and reverb are the same thing. Like an echo in a cave, snap, and then you can hear that snap back, right? So the difference between reverb and delay is there's like a constant, right? And so that constant isn't the same for everyone. It's the difference between discerning two different signals as opposed to a signal that is singular. So if you click your fingers in an auditorium, you're not going to hear a single click back, like click, click, right? You're going to hear a click, and it's just a cacophony of the reflections that the sound is hitting off the walls. So if the room is deep enough, or the wall that the sound is reflecting off of, that it takes longer than 32 milliseconds for you to hear that, that's where your brain usually splits apart the difference between delay and echo. If something is so far away and you hear the reflection off of it, it will create an echo as opposed to sounding like reverb. Of course, there's a lot more that goes into it, but delay also kind of helps with space. So you can change the volume of something, you can change the frequency of something, you can change a delay and a reverb, right? And then you've got something like spatially. You also have left and right, you're panning. So left and right panning are neat, and the Beatles do this a lot in their albums. But modern day, what we do is we do a technique where spatially you can put something in three-dimensional space and hear it, and that's by changing its delay plus which channel it starts in and which channel it ends in. So for example, if something happens right here to the left of me in my head, this makes sense, right? So physically, it's located the closest to my left ear. You're seeing it as my right ear, but whatever. So it hits this ear first, and then it's also going to hit this ear if the sound is happening right here. So this ear is going to hear it first and louder. This ear is going to hear it second, probably reflected off of something. And you can do this by putting a slight delay on a channel and then moving the sound spatially in 3 dimensions. That's pretty fun too. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do to make sound better, but it's easy to get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed by it, but here I'm not playing around much with spatially, except for when I'm doing a chorus effect, because a chorus effect is essentially doing this. It's doing this in a I'm not going to explain it because I'm just bad at it. But of course, it does some interesting things, and you can look into it. But with just 3-band EQ, right? Low, middle, and high, with the knowledge that you can add reverb or delay, they're the same thing. You can move things left or right channel, or even spatially. And compression, which is the volume, the amplitude, and the frequency. That's pretty much what you do when it comes to music. So, like most symphonies, you try to have you're filling in the different sounds and textures, but math will only get you so far with music. I think yes, there's lots of neat things about music theory. And most of music theory, in my opinion, can be summed up by the circle of fifths or the circle of fourths. The circle of fourths is the circle of fifths backwards, and it makes melodic sense to me if you play the circle of fifths backwards, which I do believe is called the circle of fourths, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so all that stuff that I learned long ago, I don't have to do it for a job, so I get to just do this stuff for fun. And it's fun to just tweak the sounds, add your own little bits to it. And let's add a bit to the end. I want the end to have like a mini crescendo here. Oh. There we go. Okay. It needs like some kind of, I'm gonna add a new one, and this is gonna be cellos. These are gonna be the cellos. Add something to play with. Well, maybe I'm gonna record something. Never mind. Maybe I'm gonna record something. This is what I'm saying. So, what we're gonna do is reconstruct the audio. Okay, let's take the videos that he made for hard. This one took a long time. He said that it took him a week. Let's get the audio from the latter part. This is the end of it.
I would like to make the art segment a bit more personal because, well, I do kind of need it. Yes, this video was made in a week, and I do mean the entire video.
Let's see. He says something before that because he has a cool shout out to his people. Let's see here.
Alright, so now that we got the fuel.
I'm trying to think of what type of sample. I really like from the one video. Maybe I won't. VST3, EQ, Tokyo Dawn Labs, Nova. My OCD is kicking in. Alright. I have to apply the TDR Nova. This helps with the compression. So this is actually, I'm trying to extract his voice a little bit from the main part of the video. It's going to take a minute and 28 seconds. Okay, so while I'm doing that, I think I have a sample already. I think I'm going to try to load it. Oh, I deleted all the downloads. So hopefully I put it in the video. I just want the pattern.
One subscriber, one subscriber.
Okay. Oh my goodness, go away. There we go. And Morphine 3. build up a little bit. Not sure where I want it to go. That's like life, right? I never know where it will be.
One subscriber, one video. 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 One subscriber, one video.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a turnaround, which is fine, but it's you know what? I'm gonna record this half a step down and raise it half a step. Because I can do that. So all I have to do is raise it half a step. Okay. Okay, so we'll put it as guitar. Then I'll end the stream, guys. So I hope MAKiT likes it. His video content is awesome, and you should definitely check it out. I'm gonna share all of his videos. But yeah, I think that hard work should be recognized because I make videos just for fun, and he could definitely, in my opinion, do it full time because the quality is so high and the material. So check it out. This is my theme song I'm gifting to him. Almost everything I do for fun I like to give away just because that's, I don't know, that's just the person I am. But anyways, this is MAKiT's theme song mix. I have no clue what I'm doing, but I'm giving it to him. So it's commercially free for him forever. He doesn't have to have permission, and he can have all the rights. So I'm exporting it as an MP3 now, and this is version 5. 5 done. I'd put a smiley face, but some operating systems don't like that. Full song, 32, stereo, MP3, 192. We'll put 320 kilobits per second. Yeah. So that concludes the stream. I think I can call this song done because I can't close Fruity Loops. So that means that I can't restart my computer because I won't be able to open this file until I purchase the license. I own a license of FL Studio and all of these plugins, so it's legal for me to use them and put them in the song. I have multiple licenses, but not on this computer. When your computer crashes, the one thing that you can't really save is the software unless you have a duplicate of your hard drive. I do have, I have all the keys and everything, but just loading stuff like the software back up can be a little cumbersome. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna probably chop up this video, try to make a real video out of it from YouTube. Kind of showed a little bit about sound design, where you can change the frequency, you can change the volume, you can change the pan left and right, you can change the three-dimensional position if you have a stereo channel. And kind of all those things make up audio engineering. It's kind of fun. And you got compression. So that is it. Save. Yes. And end the stream. And like always, hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. Yeah. Hope everyone gets encouraged to do things. Sometimes I've done a lot of projects where I haven't got recognition. And sometimes just keep at it. Tenacity is very important to keep at doing something because it does pay off in the long run. But a lot of people give up because it's too tough. So yeah, stick-to-itiveness, tenacity.